Welcome. After tiredness and tech issues, we are here. We are here. So I will. I'll start by retweeting.
I gotta retweet. I gotta
retweet. I gotta tweet.
Yep.
All right, it's there. I'm gonna put it on all of my my tweeting bans. I have a lot.
I got it.
Yeah, no, here it comes. It's going in places. That way people can the people will see it. They will. They will see it, or they'll see it tomorrow.
I already see Ed's in chat.
Ed is in the chat. Oh, I love that. All right. Let's get business out of the way first. So, a couple of things. One, I don't know how many of you watched the Start Sit show. If you didn't watch it, don't go back and watch it. That show sucked. I didn't have it. I cut the show early, wasn't feeling it. And I think that this is going to be a permanent decision. I will have one more Sunday morning Start Sit show next week. It'll be on the DLF channel, actually. I cleared it with Addison already. I'm going to have John Hesterman on with me, who's actually the only person in the fantasy industry that I actually met in person.
Oh, nice.
Him, his wife, and his daughter came up to New York, where I live, and they were within walking distance of my apartment. So I was like, well, you're here. I mean, should come see you, hang out. It was really nice meeting them, actually. They have a great family. Awesome. But with that said, he happens to be at DLF. So, I asked Addison, and we are going to put that on the DLF channel for a special event doing Start Sit next week. I don't know if I'm going to simulcast it on here. I have access to the StreamYard for DLF, so I'm going to stream it from there. So I have to decide if I want to simulcast it or not. If not, you'll find it there. I would recommend you watch it there anyway, because the chat will be much more active there than it will be here. But I may or may not simulcast it if I want to set that up. But with that said, this week was the last Sunday morning Start Sit of the season on this channel. And just for the record, it'll be the last Sunday morning Start Sit on this channel ever. The reason for that is twofold. There's three reasons. One, I need this has nothing to do with this channel, but I need a regular co-host for that show. I'm not going to come back and do it this year, but if I'm going to come back in that spot next year, I was having trouble booking guests. Not that it was hard to book them, but believe me, plenty of people wanted to be on with me. Actually, it is a difficult time to book people. Sunday morning is hard. A lot of people don't want to do it, myself included, honestly. So, there were a lot of people who just would have loved to come on the channel, but couldn't at that time. And I think this, for me, it's easier, as you know, the person who records with me the most, that I do better recording with the same people over and over again, with the same co-host. I feel like I have great chemistry with you. I have great chemistry with Cal that I've built over months doing Ask DLF. And when I did the Dynasty duo with CJ, we really had great chemistry on the show. I always enjoyed talking to him, doing the show with him. And honestly, I really missed that show. But, those were building chemistry over a long period of time. So if I'm going to come back and do that next year, it's going to be with a regular co-host. And I'm going to find someone who can do that spot every week. The second thing is that just for the reality of Sunday morning is very crowded. I can't compete with the big channels. I just can't. I can't. This channel's too small. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for me to answer 30 questions on here when I could spend that hour answering 500 of your questions on Twitter. It doesn't make any sense. People on Sunday morning are looking and watching my show, I would assume, for answers, for information. This show, you're probably more watching for entertainment. You want to hear me recap the games, but, this is supposed to be fun. There's no rush. No one's setting a lineup right now. We're just kind of chatting about, it'll be a lot of Dynasty. We'll talk about rest of season, that kind of stuff. It's more open. I consider to be more entertainment. But that show, the Sunday morning show, is mostly informational. So if I can give the same information on Twitter faster to more people, it just doesn't pay for me to do I don't get paid to do the show on this channel either. And it's the least viewed of the 3 shows. The recap is by far the best, followed by the Thursday show, and then the Sunday morning show is last by a good amount. So just for those reasons, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do a Sunday morning show on this channel. So I need a regular co-host for next year if I want to bring that back. I need a bigger platform to host it. Maybe DLF, maybe someone else. There could be anyone interested. If you're listening to this and you're interested in me, call me. I might be available for that next year. When just remember me. Don't forget me. And then the last thing is that the reason I'm not going to do it, try to revive it for this year, is that I'm obviously pretty burnt out. I'm tired. I don't have my best stuff. And that show has just been wearing on me. I've noticed that it's the show of the ones of the 4 that I do where I'm constantly in a bad mood, constantly don't have my best, and I don't really want to give people 30% of me. So for those reasons, this will be the last one. I don't know if I'm going to simulcast on here, but me and John on Sunday. And then going forward, I'll have the recap that we do here Sunday nights. Thursday, we'll do our Start Sit show. And then I'll just do Sunday morning questions on Twitter. And then I'll have Ask DLF on Tuesdays. So that'll be what I'm going to do going forward for you guys. And thanks for everyone to supporting me through all this. I've talked about this a lot on Twitter, and I don't want to belabor the point. But mental health is important, and I want there to be some of me left. Because there's, if I just completely wear down, you're not going to have any of these shows. So, it is what it is. Ed says recap. I love you, Ed.
He's ready.
But yeah, I don't know if you have anything you want to add about mental health, about anything I said, anything about like how your content journey is going. This is recap show, so whatever you're feeling.
I mean, I'm just, it's all well, it's rocky, of course. It's nothing's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. Yeah, for sure.
Mental health's number one, though. Get yourself right.
Yeah. I would say that, someone said it's okay to not be okay, but it's, it's not okay to not try to be okay. So I'm working on that. And I'm not going anywhere, I don't think. I don't plan to step away. I don't plan anything drastic. I really feel that I'm okay most of the time. That show was wearing on me the most. So we're going to stop doing that, at least for now. Okay, so recap this week. It's been a pretty good week for me, actually. This is also how it's totally unrelated to the fantasy results. It was a pretty good week.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that. We're way beyond the point where that affects my mood. But yeah,
what does affect my mood?
Do you want to talk about some of your favorite things from this week, or do you want to go to questions first? Dustin says, "Great night to be a Chargers fan." I agree. After that exciting game,
very good game. What
do you want to do? Do you want to talk about your most exciting things that you want to talk about the most, or do you want to go to the questions first?
We could start with the most exciting things. You know what makes my mood?
Go for it.
Up here, Jonathan Taylor scoring 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns. Good. That's actually a perfect segue because here you are. A question came in. You didn't know that about Jonathan Taylor. So why don't you segue into this then?
Perfect
from
segue.
Tom Carter. Actually, Tom, I think it's Tom, sent me some very nice things. Actually, he was saying, that he supports me and my journey in this industry. So I also appreciate the question, but I do appreciate caring about me as a person. It was funny. I made a post about that. I got 100 nice comments and 0 mean ones. So
sometimes we're good. Sometimes we're good.
Yeah, maybe I'm harder on Twitter than I need to be. Or maybe I've just blocked everyone that's mean at this point.
Hey,
maybe that's it. Maybe I've just blocked everyone that doesn't like me. That's probably more likely. But anyway, so let's talk about this dynasty and redraft next year. So, in your opinion, is Taylor now the 101 in 1 QB leagues next year? Where does he land for you in Superflex league? So, let's start with kind of looking at next year's redraft. Best you can do that. Would Taylor be in consideration for the 101?
I think. I mean, of course, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Taylor myself, but I feel like it's tough with CMC in a redraft, especially when you have PPR.
Those are the only two
Yeah.
competitors. It's CMC and JT.
Point.
Yeah, those are the two competitors. I think a lot of it for CMC depends on who the quarterback is. If it's Cam Newton, it won't be CMC. Any other quarterback and CMC would have a better case, but Cam Newton specifically is a problem. Because CMC wasn't CMC with Cam Newton. He wasn't that. He was great. He was excellent. He was a high-end RB1, but he wasn't CMC until Cam Newton went away. Then he became, instead of like a top 3 running back play every week, he became 5-6 points a week better than everyone else the second Cam Newton went out. So it would be Taylor if it were Cam Newton for CMC. But if it were anyone else, I think CMC would have a good case. But those will be the two players people will be considering. It'll be Taylor, it'll be CMC. Superflex leagues, Superflex redraft is hard to, I would think that probably not. It's probably going to be quarterback. But what about Dynasty then? What about Dynasty?
I mean, circling back to one QB redraft, I don't think it's going to be Cam Newton. We've seen how aggressive the Panthers are addressing quarterback. Yeah. Like, it's going to be I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be someone new.
I don't either, but
cycle.
I don't know who it's going to be. But I don't think it's going to be Cam Newton.
I don't think it's going to be Cam Newton.
It's possible. I don't know. We'll see.
It's very possible.
But anyway, so dynasty related, I think the easy question is Taylor the 101 in 1 QB leagues? The answer to that's yes. To me, when I did my dynasty running back rankings, that was the only obvious take. It's like, this is obvious. Anything else is, it's an opinion, but I would say it's wrong. Like, it's wrong. Jonathan Taylor is the dynasty running back 1. He's the 101 in 1 QB leagues. It's not close. And other opinions are interesting, but they're hot takes. They're wrong, essentially, is what I'm saying. That's the easy question. And I assume you agree with that?
I agree with that. Jamar Chase could at least spark a conversation, but I don't think it gets close.
Not really. Not after the last couple of weeks. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if Jamar Chase is still the dynasty wide receiver 1.
I think it's whatever.
It's close. Him and Jefferson are the two that are, Jefferson, by the way, the production that he's putting up in year 2 after the production he put up in year 1 is telling you that Justin Jefferson is going to be a Hall of Famer. So, that's Hall of Fame type trajectory. There's like literally nobody who's had this type of production rookie and sophomore year that isn't you're looking at, with that type of production, you're looking at what? Randy Moss is comparable player on that kind of career trajectory. Who else is there? Randy Moss is the one that comes to mind.
I don't think I can think of any.
Yeah, no, there aren't many, but a lot, Randy Moss is the one who really broke out like that. Odell.
Yeah, Odell, but
Odell might not be a Hall of Famer. Mike Evans, not quite as good on the production, but similar. Mike Evans, what would you have spent to have Mike Evans' career starting in the middle of 2015?
Oh,
if you could buy that.
You'd easily buy that, from 2015 on,
Whatever
like
it costs.
Yeah, whatever it costs. Because
Whatever it costs. I mean, that's
consistency. It's like,
yeah, I mean, you're getting 5 wide receiver 1 years and the rest of his career on top of that. So I'll take that. But either way, I still think with running back scarcity, Taylor's clearly the 1-on-1 QB leagues.
Yeah.
What about Superflex, though? What about Superflex? I think that's interesting. So quarterbacks, would you take? I assume you would still take Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Yep.
Kyler,
before
him.
Yeah.
What about Lamar?
Probably. Yeah.
I agree. I still think so. What about Herbert?
I would.
Yeah. I think where it starts to get interesting is the next three. So Dak, Joe Burrow, and Lawrence. At this point, I haven't liked much of what I've seen from Lawrence. I think it's time to start lowering Lawrence a little bit in the rankings. I think he needs to come down a little. At some point, I want to see something better.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I'd probably just rather stick with JT over Lawrence. What about versus Burrow? What about Burrow?
I feel like that's the line, right? I feel like I'd still
Close.
take JT. I'd take JT, but it's a conversation.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to end up above Dak, Burrow, and Lawrence for me, but below Herbert, Lamar, Allen, Kyler.
You can't take him over those guys.
No.
They're all
No, Herbert's too good. Herbert is
way too good. We saw that tonight.
No, Herbert's way too good. I do kind of, and that's how I have it tiered, actually. I have Mahomes, Allen, and Murray in tier 1. Although, honestly, I think we're back to where it was. I think the real situation is Mahomes is alone in tier 1, like it should have been the whole time. And Allen, Murray, Lamar, and Herbert are tier 2. And then I have Dak, Burrow, and Lawrence as tier 3. But honestly, Lawrence,
he's fallen.
Lawrence, I'm not so sure. But he doesn't really belong in tier 4 with Russell Wilson, Fields, Lance, and Stafford. No. So it's kind of weird. It's like, do I create a whole new tier just for him?
I think it might. I think it might be the time.
Tier 3.5.
Tier 3.5. Underwhelming number 1 pick.
Yeah, because he's in the middle of those things. But I'll have to decide where to put Trevor Lawrence. But he does need to drop down my Superflex rankings. But yeah, I think we know where to place Jonathan Taylor. So that would put him at 6th overall in Superflex. And that's probably as high as he'll ever go, because I think that the top 5 quarterbacks are essentially, unless they start not being that, they're essentially untouchable value-wise. I don't think a non-quarterback can hold their value. For me.
I agree.
So, yeah. All right, we have a few more questions. Unless you had anything else that you really want to talk about specifically.
You did the questions first. I just wanted to mention the JT 5 touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I love JT too. It's not like I'm a JT.
I'm just saying I really wanted to talk about that. We'll get to Austin Eckler's 4 touchdown game in a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. How about we'll also get to Antonio Gibson's performance today. We will.
Yeah.
We will have to get to that. His putrid performance, honestly, not good.
So kind with that. So kind with those words.
Well, it wasn't so good. It wasn't so good. He averaged a lot of yards, but he didn't get any receptions. Again, didn't score and fumbled. So we have a problem.
Sounds like a bad week.
Have a problem with him. What about this? Let's talk about another putrid performance. Bryan Edwards. Last week he broke out. This week, no targets. None. 0. He managed to take 1 carry for 0 yards. That was it.
Solid day at the office.
What do you do with Bryan Edwards in Dynasty? Do you hold, drop? What are you going to do with him?
Assuming your waiver wires look like mine in my leagues, I think you have to hold him at this point.
You can't drop him. You can't trade him. You can't start him. So what does that mean he is?
He's a hold.
No, he's a roster clogger. He's a roster
hold.
clogger. You can't start him. You can't trade him. You can't drop him. He's a roster clogger. He's a roster clogger that's going to clog up your roster for a long time before we finally give up on his potential, and who knows when that's going to be. No, I would accept anything to get rid of him. I'm not doing this again. Last week was a flash in the pan. I'm tired of him. And I would, if you just give me any third round pick, I'll just move on. I'll move on. I don't want any part of that. I'd rather have like Tim Patrick at this point, who got an extension from the Broncos. I'd rather have Josh Palmer just start over with something else. I have 2 years of Bryan Edwards is just enough for me. I'm good. You can probably still get a third for him, and I would just take it and move on.
There's still got to be believers. The believer hive, including myself, and you two. It was so large at the beginning of the season. So like, there's got to be someone in your leagues.
Yeah, the believers in Bryan Edwards are vast. And then the second part of this question: will Taylor Heineke have a starting quarterback job next season? So Taylor Heineke is under contract next season to Washington at a very reasonable $2.75 million. So he's going to be on Washington next season because at the very least he's a backup. So he's going to be there. So really, is he Washington's quarterback or not? What do you think about? My guess is that I don't think they're going to sign a veteran to supplant him. Who would that even be?
They're not getting a Rodgers or
Wilson.
They're not getting those guys.
No. Rodgers is not going there. Nobody wants to go there. They're not getting Rodgers. They're not getting Wilson. They're not getting Watson. They're not getting any of those. Is there anyone that they could sign in free agency who would be better than Taylor Heineke? I mean, look at the free agents. If you look at the free agents, who's going to be a free agent? You're going to have Winston coming off an injury. Winston was not better than Taylor Heineke this season. I mean, you could have Tyrod Taylor, Taysom Hill. I mean, if Ben Roethlisberger is done in Pittsburgh and doesn't want to Ben Roethlisberger sucks. I mean, Cam Newton will be a free agent, but they had the opportunity to sign Cam Newton this time, and they didn't. No, so they're not going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's really what they're going to do is they have to draft someone. But I don't know how they're going to do that. And there aren't that many good quarterbacks in this class, and whoever they draft is probably going to sit for a bit. But yeah, I would say Taylor Heineke, odds are, starts week 1, 2022. I think he's played well enough that they're going to stick with him over another veteran. They could bring in someone young.
I agree. This situation screams day 2 developmental prospect quarterback type of situation.
I mean, I think they'd like to take one in the first round, but they just might not have access to one.
I don't think they. I'm gonna look at the draft order real quick. See where they're at right now. I don't know if those.
Well, they won today, which makes it less likely. Yeah, right now they're at 10.
10. I mean, they're currently mocked a quarterback on Tankathon.
Yeah, no, and there are people who would, there are potentials, but Detroit is number 1. I mean, they could take a quarterback or not. Houston is at 4. They could be interested in a quarterback. The Giants are at 6 and 7.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people who could be interested. Atlanta at 9 is right ahead of them. Could be interested in a quarterback.
Atlanta might not win another game this season, so
But in my opinion, Taylor Heineke will start, and it's time to start adjusting the Dynasty rank. So before this week, I had Taylor Heineke at Dynasty quarterback 34, behind Jameis Winston, behind Ben Roethlisberger, behind Jared Goff, behind Cam Newton, behind Teddy Bridgewater, and I think he's going to have to go above all of those guys, right behind Jordan Love. Just because I think Taylor Heineke's never going to be a franchise quarterback. Never, ever, ever. Whereas Jordan Love could. And in Superflex, you want a franchise quarterback. That's going to give you more value. But I'd rather have Taylor Heineke than Teddy Bridgewater or Cam. We know the NFL would rather have Taylor Heineke than Cam. And Taylor Heineke has a similar fantasy upside to Cam, clearly. He did this week, and he did previously. So, yeah, he's someone, his value is stock up. I mean, really, if you think about it, would you rather in Dynasty have Taylor Heineke or Matt Ryan? I mean, who's going to give you more starting games? Probably Matt Ryan, because they're stuck with that $40 million, but
I'd say
that different?
I still think Heineke might score more points in that time frame.
And that's the other thing. Matt Ryan is completely unstartable. I'm glad. I told multiple people to start Heineke and Simeon over Ryan this week. Heineke and Simeon, this is where we are. I told them Heineke and Simeon over Ryan. I had Ryan at quarterback 27 this week. I think I got that one right.
You definitely did.
That one I did a good job. He scored negative in some formats, so we don't want any part of negative.
You know, you took your right claim there. I'll take my wrong claim. Remember, I had Dan Arnold in the top 10 tight ends. That didn't pay off today.
And I saved people there too. They were like, "I'm gonna start Dan Arnold over T.J. Hawkinson." I was like, "No, you won't. You won't do that. Blame me. You start T.J. Hawkinson, and if I got it wrong, you can blame it on me. You can blame it on me. It'll be my fault. Blame it on me. Blame it on me. I'll own it. I'll own it. Blame it on me." I'm really glad that they listened. It's like sometimes the things I have to do. I was also like, no, we're not going to start Dan Arnold over Mike Gesicki. We won't do that. Sometimes like people overthink it. Just because they had a goose egg last week doesn't mean they're going to have a goose egg this week.
I had both of those guys above Dan Arnold, but Dan Arnold was
I know you did, but do you know how much time I spend on Twitter talking about this stuff? They're like the analysis of your casual fantasy player is, oh, they didn't score for me last week. Well, I can't play them again. I mean, we can't do that. So I spend so much time on Twitter talking people out of that type of logic. And I'm glad I saved some of them with Dan Arnold. It's not like I had Dan Arnold buried. I had him at tight end 12. But he was someone that I often went away from when asked either or this week. And I'm happy that I steered people away from him compared to, options you should start over him. You should start TJ Hawkinson over Dan Arnold. I think we all know that. Well, we don't all know that clearly, but I think most people should know that.
He's still dealing with that injury. Once he gets right, he'll be back to stud levels again.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Like Saquon, right?
This is different.
Yeah, that could be a long time. But yeah, Taylor Heineke's got to come up my dynasty ranks. He's going to be someone, a mover this week. Okay, well, speaking of dynasty, from David, biggest dynasty riser from this week. Man, I would say Jonathan Taylor, but he can't really rise.
You can't rise from 101 to 101.
No, yeah, not really. Who's you got it? Because I have a name. I have one prepared.
See, it's funny because all the big performances were near the top. Justin Jefferson went absolutely off this week. He was already 2 at the lowest.
Yeah, no, I'm prepared.
I didn't get to read through the questions beforehand. So if you could go first in this one while I find someone.
Elijah Moore has arrived. Elijah Moore has arrived. It is time to recognize that Elijah Moore is going to be a star. I think. I mean, I talked about in my 6-pack article, I was so proud of myself, my 6-pack article preview for the Sunday games. I was like, this is Elijah Moore's buy low window. It's about to slam shut. His ADP and ranking are ridiculous. They're stupid. They're way too low. Please, 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 please. Please buy him before today's game. It's going to be a big performance. And then, big performance comes. Now it's too late. But 8 for 141 and 1 on 11 targets. I'm happy. So if I got something right this week. But yeah, no, I mean, in Dynasty, I'm all in at this point.
You have to be.
I think I would rather have him over Elijah Moore or Jerry Jeudy.
Elijah Moore. I'm convinced as well. I'm in.
I know. Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle wasn't bad today, but I'd still take. It's tough because we don't know the chemistry between Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore.
Yeah, we don't.
Because Elijah Moore's been having all these big games with Joe Flacco, Mike White. I think Josh Johnson even got in a game and Elijah Moore went off. Like,
no, I mean, yeah,
he's definitely the biggest riser, but I can't bump him up so high. I'm all in on him, but once he shows it with Zach Wilson, it's over.
Well, okay, for me, he was behind each of these wide receivers in order, and I'm going to stop when I tell you where he's going to end up. So he was behind these players: Rashad Bateman, Mike Evans. This is going up the rankings. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Hollywood Brown, T. Higgins. And then I think he's going to stop there above T. Higgins, but below still the trio of first-round receivers from Alabama, Judy, Waddle, and Smith. He's going to be right next to them, right below those three. So he's going to move up from 54 overall all the way up to 39, right behind them.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, so he's coming up a little over a round. So he's going to be a huge riser this week, for sure.
All right. Can I choose someone that's basically coming back?
Sure.
Can I choose Brandon Eyuk? I feel like he's back.
Yes, you can.
I was looking at that game in another manner. I was gonna say Elijah Mitchell by default because they're using Deebo Samuel in the backfield over Jeff Wilson, even though he had 19 carries, he wasn't effective. And Trey Sermon,
Jeff Wilson wasn't ineffective. The box score doesn't tell you the whole story.
It doesn't, but I mean, he's using Deebo Samuel in the backfield.
Jimmy G completes that touchdown pass. We're having a completely different conversation. That was a terrible throw.
You got a point. I'm still going Brandon.
Someone came after me for that, and I was like, okay, I tell you the score. I tell you how many carries Jeff Wilson had. And you tell me with that information that you wouldn't have started.
130 and a touchdown at least.
Right. But you tell me you wouldn't have started him if I told you the score and his carry count.
Oh, yeah.
You would have started him twice as confidently.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon, by the way, don't be fooled by Trey Sermon's 10 carries. Those were all in garbage time. He had like 4 carries for 8 yards before that. Deebo Samuel was the backup running back.
He looked good. He's been looking good.
Oh, he looked good. I'm not saying he looked bad. I'm just saying that they went to Deebo Samuel as Deebo Samuel had 8 carries, not 2, 8 for 79 yards and a touchdown. He was the backup complement running back. So don't be confused, which is interesting. Don't be confused by Deebo's line of 1 reception for 15 yards. Deebo was the backup running back in this game. Trey Sermon is irrelevant. You can cut Trey Sermon. You can cut him from Dynasty yards. I have no use for him. No use. If he wasn't usable in this game with Mitchell out, Hasty out, when is he ever going to be usable? Ever. So you can cut him. I don't have time for him.
It's unfortunate. I mean,
all right, let's play the game of Brandon Eyuk. Let's play that.
Riding the roller coaster. We are up here.
All right. Let's go all the way up. So Brandon Eyuk or Elijah Moore, we just talked about.
Oh, that's Elijah Moore still.
We're supposed to go with Elijah Moore. So how about someone who's struggling? What about T. Higgins? T. Higgins or Brandon Eyuk? What about T. Higgins?
T. Higgins has like all the metric stats that you want, but he's
not this week.
Not this week, but I'm talking about in season, in general.
Yeah,
and he's just not doing it. I remember 3-4 weeks back, he had that 15 target week, and he had 20 yards.
I know. It wasn't 20 yards, but
it's all there for T. Higgins to pop, and he's just not popping. I don't understand what's going on. I haven't been able to watch majority of the Bengals games. I need to go back and watch them, but I don't know. I mean, at this point,
they're not going to have that different lines for the season.
Yeah, they're gonna be very similar. I think they're close. I think they're close, but I still go T. Higgins with Burrow. Burrow
I'm going to lean toward T. Higgins, but T. Higgins has to come down the rankings, I think, and Brandon Ayuk is going to come up. Okay, what about, let's see. So there's a few old guys. There's Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans. Those are tough to value. But what about someone else in his cohort? Brandon Ayuk versus Rashad Bateman. Bateman, not good today.
Not good today, but I know he was all the
blame it on Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was the talk of Twitter for what 2-3 days there.
Let us not forget that Sammy Watkins delivered on the final drive of the game. Really a game-deciding catch near the end of the game. They wouldn't have won without that play.
I'm not going to factor too much into today's performance, but he did only have 3 for 30 without Marquise Brown. I feel like the Ravens would have scored more than 16 points with Lamar Jackson. I
completely agree. Yeah, I'm going to just toss this game in the dumpster fire.
Yeah, this is one of those games where
it's not relevant. But with that said, it's more like, did Brandon Ayuk convince you enough to move up above Rashad Bateman? That's more of the conversation. Not that I'm moving Rashad Bateman down.
Yeah, you can't. This is one of those games. We'll see what Lamar does next week with Bateman, and we'll be able to factor that.
I think I'm going to lean Bateman over Ayuk, but it's close. It's close.
Ayuk has really brought himself all the way back.
Yeah, he's never going to come all the way back.
No, he was at wide. Okay, correction. He was at like wide receiver 16 in the offseason. I keep sure.
Yeah, and he'll never get there again.
He'll never get there. But I'd expect him to sit around like wide receiver.
But to be honest, my issue with Ayuk is similar to my issue with Bateman. Ayuk has no ceiling. Someone has to get hurt for Ayuk to really be great again. That's the problem. Someone has to get hurt.
Or Debo has to play running back every game.
Yeah, but then exactly, Mitchell got hurt. Like someone has to get hurt for him to really have that ceiling. That's my issue. So I'm not, because that's how he had the ceiling last year, right? So like, there's only so high he can go. I'd still prefer Bateman. What about Chase Claypool? He showed some signs of life today.
He did show some signs of life today, even though I don't know what not the Colts. What am I saying? The Colts. The Steelers offensive coordinator insists on giving him jet sweeps at the 1-yard line.
Irrelevant jet sweeps, but Claypool actually looked good today. He looked good coming off the injury. I think I would lean Claypool over Ayuk.
Yeah.
Close. I had him close all offseason. I'm going to lean Claypool. Yeah. It is close. And then I'll go down another one. I would now prefer Ayuk over Ridley because I'm not dealing with Ridley unless I have to.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't know. He could never play in the NFL again. So that's too much risk.
Support that.
Oh, I support that.
Yeah, I know. I know you do. I'm just saying.
But that's not the only issue with Ridley. The other issue is age. Ridley's about to turn 27, whereas Ayuk is only 23. So, that they're not in a similar age cohort. So that'll make me lean toward Ayuk if I had to pick between those two. And then I'd rather have Ayuk over older guys like Keenan Allen. And then there's other younger guys like Rondale Moore, Kadarius Toney. I don't know. We haven't seen Kadarius Toney yet. Rondale Moore had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think I like that. 11 catches.
Yeah, on 11 targets, got them all for 51 yards. It's a weird game.
I want to see what that A-dot is.
But I kind of feel like a lot of these guys are similar. Like Bateman, Rondale Moore, and Ayuk actually are very similar. They're all good. They all have no ceiling at all. And they all are kind of in the same value range. They're all similar. The one thing is that one of those three players plays with Kyler Murray. The other two don't. And it makes me lean toward Rondale Moore of those three, actually, if I had to choose.
I mean, we're not seeing designed looks for Rashad Bateman and Eyuk. Like, Cliff Kingsbury is designing plays specifically for Rondale Moore.
And that's what makes me go that way, yeah, for sure.
I mean, you don't
But
get
yeah,
11 touches
Brandon
every week.
Ayuk is a big dynasty riser this week. I completely agree. Anyone
Absolutely.
anyone on the lower radar? Well, Darnell Mooney. What about Darnell Mooney?
Yeah, he's a riser as well. He's not much, but he's still a riser. He
But he
looked
also
good on that
caught,
reception.
it was weird. He caught 5 of 16 targets.
A lot of those, I watched a
Some of
little bit
those
of
were
the.
Andy Dalton's fault.
There were a couple that were off by a lot, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? I mean, that nice broken tackle produced a 60-yard touchdown. Like, what more do you want as a
I
fantasy
know.
manager?
That's true. That's true. You
He
can't
was
ask
good when the ball made it to his hands. That's what counts. I know if you get part of it is getting the ball there, but
Yeah, I mean there were a good number. I mean there were a lot of dynasty risers this. Actually, not really. Like not really, because what you said earlier, a lot of the big performances were from players at the top, players that are already so highly valued.
Wait, hold on. Okay, did Jalen Hurts do enough to supplant this week? Is he a dynasty riser? I saw him get some time.
He was highly valued already. I mean, yes.
He was highly valued already, but are more people starting to come around on him being a long-term kind of fit at quarterback that could raise his value even higher?
I think so. I mean, I think that he is going to be the 2022 starter. He didn't have to win that many games. I think he's probably already won enough games. So, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be the 2022 starter. I still don't think he's all that great, to be honest, as like a real-life quarterback. I think he's fine. He's been better the last few weeks. But, like, you know, there are some people who are going to victory lap and say that he was good the whole time. Those people are wrong. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're lying. What they mean to say is that he showed potential and traits that could develop into being a good NFL quarterback and had not yet. That's the truth. But, you know, Twitter doesn't have room for nuance. So what they say is, oh, he's been great the whole time. He was a star. He was a stud. It's a lie. He was a star for fantasy, but he sucked for real life football. He sucked until about 2 or 3 weeks ago when he's been better, especially the last 2 games. The last 2 games have been very good. The last 2 games, he's been actually good. For real life NFL, he has been good. This week was weird. It was 13 of 24, but he delivered on the ground. But again, it's not all about the box score. He looked good. The best game he played was last week against the Broncos. That one, he made throws that were an NFL passer caliber of a starter. So, but yeah, anyone telling you that he was good for NFL the whole time is a liar. They're not being honest with you. They're using their trutherism to try to create a narrative that they were right the whole time. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care about being right. I'll admit that I was wrong. I was skeptical about Jalen Hurts as a real life quarterback highly more than a lot of other people. I don't think I got it right. I actually think I got it wrong. And, I call it like I see it. I don't care about victory lapping. You guys aren't here with me for that. But yes, when it comes to, I don't really care about the past. When it comes to the future, he's going to be the starter next year. He will. It's time to. Last week I was saying I thought, we disagreed on this last week, right? I mean, you said that you thought you were still kind of a little skeptical about that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was my view of what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, no, but what you thought was going to happen. Like I was saying last week, I was already had switched to saying it was more likely than not that he would be the starter in 2022 for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I'll double down on that now and say that I think it's now way more likely than not that he will be the starter. If last week maybe I was feeling 60%, 65%, this week I'd say I'm, barring injury, of course, that's always a possibility, just normally 85%, 90%.
Yeah, I'm glad what I wanted to see is starting to become reality. I wanted him to stay at the quarterback because
I don't dislike him at all. I mean,
Yeah,
he seems like a very nice guy.
Good leader, yeah.
Yeah, no, he seems like a very nice guy. He dealt with the Wentz situation pretty well. No issues really with how he, conducts himself on the field and how he plays quarterback. Seems like the locker room really likes him. Seems like the media likes him, unlike previous quarterbacks who played for Philadelphia, who nobody liked. I wonder why. So no, he seemed to have done a good job in the face of that mess and very unfair situation he was put into. Really can't say anything bad about how he's handled that. So props to him. He's made an NFL starting career out of a backup situation. So yeah, all credit to him for that. And when it comes to Superflex, one QB is whatever. I mean, we don't need to talk really about one QB dynasty. It is what it is in that case. But for me, I think at this point, Russell Wilson is going to come down the ranks. He looked putrid again. So we might have a problem there. There we might have a problem. So, and Matthew Stafford has had a problem. So I think he's going to be above those guys. So it's really going to be, I think everyone's going to be talking about the same three names: Fields, Lance, Hurts. Those are going to be after the 8 we named earlier, those are probably going to be most people's 9, 10, and 11. So how would you order those three? After today's, Fields is injury, Lance is nowhere near seeming to be getting on the field, and Hurts his performance. How would you order those three?
I mean, I think you got to put Hurts at the top. He's the one giving you the points right away. You want points unless you're tanking.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know Lance did get on the field. I don't know what he did. I don't think he did much.
He got on the field for a couple plays. He didn't. But what I mean is he's nowhere near getting on the field as a starter.
No,
he's not going to be the starter.
I mean, I think you have to bank on Lance's upside over what we've seen.
But why doesn't Hurts have the same upside?
Oh, I'm putting Hurts above them both. But
right, but to me, is it really that different?
No, it's not that different. That's why I'm putting Hurts at top, because Hurts is currently a starter. He's currently I don't know what he is right now after this week, but he was coming into the week as QB2. He was I think I'm ready to declare him basically a league winner in redraft leagues where he's going.
Much, yeah.
He's going in the 10th round, 11th round. Excellent production. I think he's fantastic for fantasy. I think you got to put him up there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's going to be my new dynasty quarterback 9. I think Wilson and Fields are going to have to come down, and Hurts is going to come up in my rankings, and we're going to have it, Hurts at 9, Fields at 10, probably still Lance at 11, Wilson at 12, Stafford at 13. Until I see something good from Wilson, I'm a little concerned.
I am as well. And also noting on the Hurts situation, those draft picks that Philly did get are getting worse by the day. Because
they are, yeah, they are.
Miami and Indy are winning. Indy's put together a win streak.
I know.
So those picks are getting worse. So there are going to be no QB really available with those picks.
Definitely not. Okay, I think we've covered this one. What was your favorite play of the day? What was your least favorite play of the day? So when he says play, actually, when I first read this question, I assumed he meant like player I started in my lineup. But now that I think about it, I think he means like play on the NFL field. Like, what was your favorite play?
Yeah, I think that's what he was asking.
Yeah. So, okay. You got a favorite coming to mind really quick?
Coming to mind really quick, the JT reception touchdown. Shout out Spence.
I don't know if I ever had that one in my mind very clearly.
He broke a couple of tackles. I think one was a spin move. He just willed his way in the end zone. And that was the second one, I believe, of the day.
I love that.
And it was just
trying to think what was my favorite of the day. The DeAndre Swift touchdown was very nice.
That was also
good. If anyone thinks Swift is slow, he turned on the Jets. So I love that. The DeAndre Swift touchdown was very nice. The Mike Williams touchdown was actually good too. Right at the end of the Steelers game, that was game-winning touchdown. Yeah. So those were a couple of the ones that I really liked today. What else? everything from Jonathan Taylor pretty much was.
All five are. Well, four of the five are kind of highlight reels. He was breaking a lot.
Oh, the Justin Jefferson. I think it was the first Justin Jefferson touchdown. The concentration on that.
See, that would only go into my least favorite DFS purposes only.
I'm sorry.
But it was a fantastic day from Justin Jefferson. I'm trying to think if there's anything
those were some of the ones. Those were some of the ones that was. The Travis Kelce rushing touchdown was interesting.
Yep. How about? I'm surprised you didn't bring this one up. Elijah Moore's long touchdown.
Oh yeah, that was good too. Tyrod Taylor's second rushing touchdown.
Let's go, Tyrod.
And Jalen Hurts' final rushing touchdown.
That was incredible.
So those were some of them. Haven't been many comments today. But hey, my Dolphins are on a win streak too. Just don't look at their competition. Hey, win is a win. It's the NFL. Yeah. The Texans beat the Titans today. They didn't take anything for granted.
Was that the second or third loss for the Titans? I'm mistaken.
Third loss. Okay. Least favorite play of the day.
Were there any big injuries? Because that's.
I'm trying to think if there was any big injuries that happened on one play. When Najee went off the field, I didn't like that one, but he came back, so he's fine. The one where Jamal Agnew got hurt, a hip injury. I mean, not that Jamal Agnew is anything special, but he's gonna miss the rest of the season. If anyone didn't know that, Jamal Agnew will miss the rest of the season. So maybe Laviska Shenault can. No, he won't break out. But yeah, no, there were no major injuries today. So Michael Carter got hurt, but I don't think that happened on a specific play. So nothing really that jumps to mind as a least favorite. Giants didn't play today, so nothing for me to get mad at there.
Only least favorite play will be DFS purposes and injuries. Nothing else.
Yeah,
I like when all people make a play. I mean, I also have to bring up the Darius Slay scoring for the second straight.
Ooh, yes.
Love to see that.
I did like that one. All right, it's time. If I had a panic alarm sound effect, it's time. We have a problem.
I agree.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. When we have 52 passing attempts, 323 passing yards, 5 for 48 is not good enough. Not good enough from someone who's supposed to be a superstar. 7 for 107 from Nick Westbrook-Akina. Really? This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. So what are we going to do about it?
I don't know. This should have been AJ Brown's time.
But it's not.
Look at the game log. Week 7 and week 8 should have been closer to the normal. I know those were 30-point weeks. I'm not saying it's extra normal, but that should be closer to what we should be expecting than 9.3, 9.8 today, 6.8.
So AJ Brown this is hard for me to believe this, but in 7 of his games, 7 of the 10 he's played, he's had 50 yards or less.
Can't believe it.
Yeah. No, it's not good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do with AJ Brown. He's been bad. But what do you do? Stop starting him? No. Trade him? How can you?
You can't, because you're not going to get proper value. I mean, This was a smash matchup. Texans are giving up. They're up there. They're just in the upper half. I don't know exactly the number. It looks like top 10 looking at the list of opponent passing yards. Ryan Tannehill threw 52 times. So you said this earlier. If Ryan Tannehill threw 52 times,
not good enough.
Pass defense. Well, you would expect AJ Brown to score better. You said you used this earlier. I forget with what player already. It was
Wilson with his rushing,
Wilson,
his carries.
If you saw the game log for Tannehill, you'd assume AJ Brown got a big chunk of that,
and he didn't do anything. So, yeah, it's not good enough. And it's time. I don't know what you do though. What do you do in Dynasty? What do you do?
This is more complicated than Brian Edwards.
Well, in redraft, what do you do, right? I mean, in redraft, you're past the trade deadline at this point, probably. So,
Most leagues.
what do you do?
Or no, it might be. I think the trade deadline is usually the week of
No, in
Thanksgiving.
redraft, the trade deadline's usually around now. Soon, anyway.
Well, then mine are later. I don't know.
But either way, whatever. I mean, you're not trading it. It's redraft trades.
You're not going to get value.
You don't do anything, so it is what it is. And then in Dynasty, what do you do? Sell? I don't know how. What do you sell for?
I don't know, because earlier in the season, it was you could look at potentially adding a piece and getting someone like a Justin Jefferson. That's out of the question now.
At least you could.
I don't think you could. I don't know. Unless people are still high on AJ Brown, but like the ingredients are all there for a breakout. No Derrick Henry, no Julio, 50 passing attempts a game.
I know you would think that this would be like the easiest thing, but it's just not. It's not happening.
AJ Brown should be like a top 5 wide receiver with what he's been given, and he's just not close.
Again, you would think
exactly,
but it's not happening. I'm trying to think. I mean, I have AJ Brown in trade addicts on a team that's tanking, but I don't know.
You got to keep him. You got to hold him.
Yeah, I guess so. I just don't like. I don't even know. Even if I did look to move him, what would I even be able to get? Right? Like,
I don't know at this point.
I probably just have to keep him and hope that he rebounds. I don't think I have any other option.
I mean, looking at a Dynasty, I don't have mine in front of me. Dynasty wide receiver ranking list. Like, where would he be right now? Because you can move him down, but
yeah, I'm not even sure if I can move him down. I think I have to just stick with him as much as it sucks.
I mean, yeah, you're not getting Chase, that's for sure. You're not getting Jefferson. You're probably not getting Metcalf, even though Metcalf's been kind of struggling a little too.
Metcalf was even worse.
Yeah, who's his quarterback going to be next year?
Yeah, no. I double my concerns for DK Metcalf that I have with AJ Brown. I have more concerns with DK Metcalf.
I still don't think you'd get him in a trade. I don't know. I feel like the DK managers think it's.
I mean, I think that's almost as much of a problem. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just have to hold on to AJ Brown because I don't see any way out, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I would struggle trading AJ Brown knowing his upside for anyone else besides Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and you're not getting them.
I know, and you're not going to get those players, so I guess I'm just I'm stuck with him. Oops.
I can't believe that. That's been one of the more shocking things this season, AJ Brown.
Well, I'll put him on my trade bait, and we'll see. We'll see
what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to update my trade bait in Trade Addicts, and I'm going to put only AJ Brown on the block and see if I get any offers.
We said the truther base for Brian Edwards is wide. There's got to be some people still in on.
Yeah, the problem is that I already have 8 of the 12 2022 firsts, so it may be a little difficult and 6 of the 12 2023 firsts. So it may be a little difficult for anyone to come up with an offer that I like.
Congrats on Treylon Burks and Bijan Robinson.
Well, I really hope I get Bijan Robinson. That would be great. Also, I can take a victory lap.
Take a bow.
How does this sound? If anyone thinks I don't still have it, if anyone thinks that I've gotten a little soft or that I don't have it, I very much still have it.
Frame this one. I can't put my hand under it because the comments are here. Frame this and put it on the fridge. This is one of the best ones. This is amazing.
No, it's not my best. It's not my best Dynasty.
Well, it's fridge material.
Yeah, I have some pretty good ones.
I'm not saying like front and center on the fridge. I'm just saying on the fridge.
My best Dynasty move ever was picking up Philip Lindsay off waivers in July before the season started. That was my first ever Dynasty League. It was one of my first ever waiver claims. So I've been great since the start. Stick
Great
with
since day one, like Justin Jefferson.
Keep that same energy. Stick with me. Tua thoughts. What thoughts are there?
I don't know. He looked okay against the depleted Jets roster. I mean,
Yeah, he looked. I think he was fine.
Yeah, he was okay.
He looked fine.
Didn't smash any records or anything. But...
No, he didn't. And they've decided to involve Duke Johnson in the offense.
Yeah, what was that?
Salvin Ahmed's not doing it for him. I don't know, man. I mean, Tua, I think Tua is going to be their starter next year. Don't think he's very good. And he is what he is. I have him Dynasty quarterback 23 at this point.
And if you got out, what was it? We were talking about this on another show. If you trade it to
I mean, there were opportunities to trade Tua for Herbert. Imagine.
That would be on the front and center of the fridge.
Yeah, I mean, during this year's rookie draft, you could have traded Tua for Mac Jones plus. Imagine if you'd done that.
Feeling great.
Yeah. There were some people who had the fabulous idea that you should trade Tua for Javonte Williams plus. Like, imagine if you'd done that. You'd probably be pretty happy right now.
I could say
I did see a deal once. I know I saw it during the rookie draft of Tua and a second in Superflex. Not even Tua and a third for Jamar Chase. Can you imagine?
I wonder what that manager is doing right now. Is he enjoying
Crying, probably.
Bahamas?
Crying, I would say.
Oh, I'm saying the one that got Jamar Chase. He enjoying drinks in the Bahamas with his friends right now or something.
I mean, at this point with Tua, he is what he is. I don't know. I'm not confident in him. We'll see. I don't have a lot of thoughts on Tua. He's mediocre. Honestly. He's mediocre and he's going to stay mediocre. I think for fantasy, he is a slightly better version of Baker Mayfield. You're never going to want to start him in a 1 QB league. In a super flex league, he's a mid QB2 at best. He's okay. He's better for real life than he is for fantasy. Doesn't run much. He kind of is what he is. I'm not that excited, personally. We talked about Elijah Moore already, and the answer to this question is yes, that he's officially arrived. And then will it continue with Wilson coming back? Well, I sure hope so. It had better continue. Wilson showed a preference for Corey Davis, but I don't. You're not going to put the genie back in the bottle with Elijah Moore.
I mean, what wasn't it like up until last week? They were giving more snaps to Jameson Crowder and Corey Davis.
Yeah, no, I think this is it. I think this is, this is the breakout.
I think it is for him. I just don't know if the Jets see it too.
They do. I think they do. They used the early second round pick on him. I think they see it. And yes, they wasted a second round pick last year on Denzel Mims, but that was a different management. All right, a couple more of these questions. From Fake Football, should we be more excited about Waddle's volume or concerned about his lack of big plays? Which of these two describes your feeling more? Excited about volume, concerned about lack of big plays?
Excited about volume. Because I don't
totally
think
agree.
It's the coaching. It's not that Waddle can't rip off a big
plays will come. You think he couldn't have done what Matt Collins did on the touchdown?
Would have done it faster.
Right. So I'm not concerned. I mean, when you have someone who gets those kind of short plays, you can always break one, and then you get a big play. But no, in a PPR league, you want volume, and he has volume. So not concerned. I'm really not. And I think that, he's someone that you should be targeting in Dynasty. People still don't believe, really. He has like a stink around him. Even more so than Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith did too. But Jalen Waddle has like an even bigger stink around him. It's people don't want to admit they were wrong. That's what it is. It's that their analytics, it's always who's more stubborn? The analytics people or the film people? They're both really stubborn and don't want to admit they were wrong. The analytics people just can't. Sometimes it's like, I'm neither, by the way. I'm mostly draft capital snob. So generally when the NFL gets it right, I tend to get it right. I tend to bet with the NFL and against Twitter. So, players I was in on include Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Kadarius Toney. Players I whiffed on, Elijah Mitchell. Probably not going to hit on a 6th round pick. I was pretty in on Trey Sermon. Oops. I tend to bet with the draft capital instead of against it. So, that, and people seem to like my rookie advice, despite the fact that I know nothing, really. I don't even watch college football. And I think it's a good example that you do not have to watch college football to be a good dynasty player. You don't. You don't have to pay one iota of attention to college football. It can give you a small edge, but I would say I can give you 90% of what a Devy analyst gives you. 90%. Unless you play Devy, that I can't help you. I can't help you with Campus Canton. I don't know a thing about college fantasy football. I couldn't help you with that. Can't help you with Devy. I can try, but I always defer to Devy analysts on that. But once we get to rookie season, I can catch up to them. I have 4 months to catch up to them. To the work they've been doing this season. I think I can. People think that there's like, and you probably, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but people think there's like a secret, like a magical secret. This is an information world these days. There are no secrets. There are no secrets. There are no sleepers. The same information is available to everyone. So it's not that hard to replicate close to what they can give you. I'm never going to be them, but I always do my best to try to give you what I can based on the simpler stuff, which is easier for me because even during the off season, I spend most of my time grinding the NFL stats, not the college ones. I create more NFL content in like February, March, and April than like anyone. I'm one of the few people who doesn't really fully turn to rookies as a dynasty analyst.
I mean, like I said, unless Kyle Shanahan's your coach, then everything's a secret. So
I know. Well, then everything's a secret, but most of the time. But yeah, when it comes to Waddle, I really do think that people have a little bit of take lock surrounding Waddle. They just didn't like his analytical profile. Fair enough. I mean, his analytical profile was awful. It was awful. So yeah, I can see why they wouldn't like him and they would be skeptical. But yeah, I just toss all that in the garbage once they take the field. I don't care about that. Do you? I mean, I toss that in the garbage very, very quickly.
I mean, sometimes.
But I don't even know it. So once we get on the field, it's like Waddle's high profile enough that I know his analytical profile was awful. But like when you come to other players, I have no idea. I don't care. That was a while ago. Like right now, we have to focus on what they're doing on the field now.
Yeah.
I don't care what his analytical profile was in college. Does his college analytical profile score you any fantasy points? This is going to be my new saying. This is everything. It's like, do excuses. How do they do excuses? Is there a category for excuses? Is there a category for injuries? Is there a category for I don't feel like giving my best effort on the field today? Do those things go? This is going to be a new thing that I'm going to do on this channel. Anytime something doesn't score you fantasy points, I'm going to be like, does this score you fantasy points? But the answer to this is be excited about Waddle's volume. Okay, Rondo Moore. Do you think his breakout from Summers? Do you think his break game is coming soon? Will he get consistent usage? We talked about him a little.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's like a special breakout game coming. That's hard to predict anyway. Could happen. I mean, if he'd broken one of those 11 receptions, it would have been this week.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent usage this season, I think I can answer that one, though, with a no. I think I can answer that with a no. That it is a no. I think he's the kind of player that you're going to get spotty usage this year, and then you'll get reliable fantasy production next year.
I'm excited for next year for Ron.
I'm excited. But, the answer to the second question is no.
Yeah, we talked about Christian Kirk already on the channel. I mean, AJ Green, we don't know how much time he's got left.
Christian Kirk has been very good. Christian Kirk is earning himself a lot of cash.
That he is, and it's not going to be with Arizona like we said, so.
No, I mean, this was a down game for Kirk, 2 for 25. This was like the Zach Ertz revival tour. 8 for 88 and 2 touchdowns?
Unreal. I mean, Christian Kirk did get in the end zone. It looked like a catch, but he bobbled it at the end. He did.
Yeah, I saw that play actually. And also, Benjamin is nothing.
James Conner.
Yeah. Well, what's happened is that James Conner kept his entire role and took all the receiving work. And took more carries.
Crazy. I think everyone in Arizona is just having a revival tour.
Yeah, Connor's the league leader in touchdowns. So
that's going to be a trivia question one day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who led the NFL in touchdowns in 2020?
Who led the league in scrimmage touchdowns?
Derrick Henry. You're wrong.
No. Jonathan Taylor. No.
Wrong. Maybe not yet. We'll see. He's been scoring at a.
We do have a question about Alvin Kamara. But I don't know if we have enough information to answer this from Brian. How do we feel about Kamara rest of the season? I feel like I've been asked this. I feel like Brian might have asked me this.
It's tough to say.
If he's on the field, he's great. I don't know about his injury, though.
Yeah, there's not enough info on his injury out there.
Something seems a little weird about this injury because there was like a possibility he could play last week. He was a game time decision. He didn't go. Then he got in a limited practice on Wednesday, then DNP on Thursday, DNP Friday, and then was ruled out almost immediately. So that tells me that there was some sort of setback or re-injury. So I have no idea how hurt he is. I don't think we know. So
I don't think we know either.
Unfortunately.
I mean, if he's on the field, fantastic. I like Trevor Siemian.
If he's on the field, he's a star. We know.
I mean, Mark Ingram got 8 targets today.
Yeah, Mark Ingram. I mean, yeah, if there was any idea that there was going to be a committee between Mark Ingram and Tony Jones, there was no committee. Ingram played his entire role and Kamara's entire role. Tony Jones was just there to give him a breather.
That he was. And so, he's going to get the targets if Simeon's still the starter when he comes back. It's not going to be, Taysom Hill where he doesn't give him any targets.
All right. I want to share something with you. Here was the Houston running backs total rushing output today. They totaled 32 carries for 55 yards and no touchdowns.
Sounds like they lost the game, but they got that W.
I know. 18 for Rex Burkhead.
Wow.
For 40 yards. Better than David Johnson. 13 for 18 yards. Philip Lindsay, 1 for -3.
That hurts.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what else happened in the games today? Dak sucked. How was that happened?
Dak didn't have his receivers.
No, he didn't have his receivers. Michael Gallup is not CeeDee Lamb.
We can confirm that statement pretty confidently.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz had a little bit of a bounce back game though, so I was kind of happy to see that.
Hey, he did. I mean, Rodgers had a day, 385 for 4.
Oh yeah, Rodgers was great.
Marcus Scantling.
I know. MVS, 10 targets. AJ Dillon was weird. 11 for 53, didn't score, but he had 6 for 44 in the passing game, which was kind of nice.
Worked out in the end.
Yeah, good enough.
I mean, 18 points. I mean, can't ask for much more.
Justin Jefferson went off. Adam Thielen also had a big day. I think the KJ Osborne experiment is kind of over.
It was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted, yeah. But yeah, I mean, any other big takeaways? Because I feel like we did a pretty good job. Nick Chubb had a decent day, but didn't score on the ground. He scored through the air. Jamarcus Bradley led the Cleveland wide receivers in snaps. And before you ask me who Jamarcus Bradley is, I do not know. So, okay. You can take Jarvis Landry and punch him off a building. You don't need him. In redraft, gone. Cut him. You don't need him. He is a waste of time. You can eliminate him from your life. You can't, and never trust him. Tired of him. This is what he did without DPJ and Schwartz, I mean, you just can't. You can't possibly play him again. Is there anyone else I need to bag on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, Trey Sermon's 10 for 32 all in garbage time. Not good. Then, I mean, yeah, there wasn't really anyone I really feel like was supposed to be really great and just like totally shit the bed today. I mean, AJ Brown wasn't that bad. Tyler Boyd got involved again.
Yeah, he did.
Actually, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's going to stay going forward. And the Raiders' backfield is a nightmare. We know that. Joe Mixon had 30 carries.
How about that?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, Mixon has been great this year. There's no doubt about that. Joe Burrow kind of had a quiet game.
Yeah, he did quiet. I'm just glad he wasn't hurt significantly. The offensive line was not holding up for him.
Also, Deontay Johnson is a star.
Yep.
And the Chargers need to make Donald Parham their starting tight end immediately.
I agree with you there. How about Justin Herbert's day on the ground?
Yeah, 9 for 90. You like that? What about Austin Eckler? Eckler's 4 touchdowns.
What a crazy day! That was a great game to cap off the night.
Najee Harris came back in. He was inefficient again, but he got you there. We found out that Kalen Ballage, which we never wanted to know, is the Najee Harris handcuff. Pittman wasn't great, but why would you even throw the ball when you have JT? Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Pittman was not so great. So,
yeah, but it's not one of those things where you did bad. It's one of those things where your teammate just scored 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, for me, like Pittman, I kind of had Pittman in a range with Deebo Samuel and Deontay Johnson, and I feel like Pittman might be like a touch high. It's like a little bit high, but he should maybe be a little lower. But I mean, it's not like every wide receiver is inconsistent unless your name's Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
This year, any year, wide receivers so deep though. Oh, and the Bills' backfield just never again. Never again.
Nope.
I didn't sign up for Matt Breida leading the backfield. I mean, when you have 11 running back carries and they're split among 3 people, and the one who gets 5 of them is the third string, you can't start these players.
It's not ideal.
No, you can't start any of them. The receiving work isn't consistent. I mean, Devin Singletary, I honestly think, like, can you just cut Devin Singletary in Dynasty? I mean, what's the point? You can't trade him. You can't start him. What is he doing for you other than existing?
Taking up a roster spot.
Taking up space that could be used on someone else. Wasn't there a moment where someone said they would prefer Zach Moss over Derrick Henry? I
I
feel
have
like I
no
remember.
idea. I don't keep up with Twitter. I don't even tweet. I'm just
That
kind of
was
there.
that was me remembering something. But we have no cause to remember that.
I'm so lost. I need to get on Twitter more.
Yeah. But yeah, Zach Moss, I feel like I've had enough of Zach Moss. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary are the same. There's no difference. They're both useless. So I'm done with him. And yeah, I'm tired of Zach Moss, tired of Devin Singletary, and Matt Breida is now apparently the lead back. Whoa. But overall, I think those are all my takeaways. This felt like a little bit of a more normal week in that a lot of the studs went off. There weren't, was there really anyone under the radar who had like a massive game? Heineke, maybe. It's like the best.
He was on a lot of people's radars, though.
Yeah, he was on a lot of people's radars. Yeah, there wasn't really anyone who was super under the radar who had a super big game. There were some people who did well, but nobody who like
maybe
Westbrook-Ikhine, but yeah, nobody started him. Yeah, Westbrook-Ikhine is a good example, but who had him in there? Valdez-Scantling is the one.
Yeah.
Where you could have had Valdez-Scantling in your lineup desperately with Lazard out.
And had a very good day.
And a very, very good day. So that's a good one. Valdez-Scantling is definitely on the list, but yeah, I'm just looking at like the bottom of the rankings at running back, and it's like you didn't want to start any of these guys. None of them really paid off. Devonza Freeman had a decent game because he scored the touchdown right at the end. Scored the touchdown right at the end, right as the game was over. Joe Flacco.
For the win, yeah. I don't think Zach Ertz was really under the radar, but he had a massive game.
A lot of people didn't want to play him this week, myself included, because of Colt McCoy. So I get that one.
That could count. 8 for 88 and 2 touchdowns, like you said. The revival tour is on.
Yeah. But there were a lot of the under the radar plays that people were touting, like Marcus Johnson, did not deliver. But yeah, well, if I think the people got enough of a recap. This felt like a less out there week, pretty more normal week.
Normal.
There weren't too many, and also the one thing we did not have to do is go through a bunch of season-ending injuries.
Love to see that.
Which always necessitates long conversations. But the big one I think to watch is Deontay Johnson got hurt on the last play, but this happens to Deontay Johnson every week. So just watch for that and watch for Michael Carter. Michael Carter's ankle injury, I think, is probably going to be the most significant one. I don't know how much time he's going to miss, but it looks like he's going to miss time. So I don't know what that's going to do, but I guess Ty Johnson will be a waiver claim this week. But Michael Carter's injury could be on the more serious side. But other than that, I think we escaped mostly with not too many injuries. So everyone knows where to find me, but you want to plug some of your stuff. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, you can find me at my Twitter that I need to tweet more at RyanPros_FF. You can find my writing at the Dynasty Vipers, and we're working on bringing the fantasy newsroom back.
Still working on it?
Still working on it.
You got to bring it back. The people demand it. They do.
We're gonna bring it back.
They demand it.
I told Spence we need
I'll send an angry. We're gonna send an angry mob. An angry mob will come and demand the return of the fantasy newsroom.
I told Spence we need to do a JT celebration show.
Oh my god. But yeah, I won't bother to plug my stuff. I've had a tough day. We all know that. Unfortunately, literally everyone knows it. I put it on Twitter, so everyone knows. My Twitter's there. If you want to follow along with my football content, it's all there. If you want to follow along with me talking about mental health, I talk about it a lot. It's there. I like to be open about that, mostly because I'm struggling, but I know that honestly, I'm probably not struggling as bad as a lot of people out there. I know that hearing it from, I'm not a public figure, but, hearing it from someone publicly who has like whatever platform I have might even just inspires 1, 2, 3 people to, talk about it and not just keep it to themselves. And, those kind of feel comfortable sharing anything like that. If there's anything that comes out of it, it's worth it. So for those reasons, I just like to get that out there. Plus, I really don't mind sharing. I always think I'm like pretty much an open book. And I feel comfortable talking about these things about myself. It's easier when you put it out there. You don't have to hide anything. It's, makes your life easier when you're really, honest with the audience. And I always try to be honest with you guys. If I'm happy, I tell you. If I'm tired, I tell you. And, I always appreciate all of you for, sticking with me, continuing to tune into the shows, continuing to follow me on Twitter, interacting with me on there, which is really important. And, helping this YouTube channel grow. I mean, I launched this kind of on a whim on less than 3 months ago, a week before the season. We already have almost 250 subscribers. I think we're at like 244. And, do I get a lot of views on the videos? No. But, these recaps have averaged over 100 viewers for the last 5-6 weeks. We had one that was over 200. The last one was like around 140, which is excellent for an independent YouTube channel just starting out. So to everyone who's watched or listened or liked, commented, and subscribed, any of those things, thank you. It, keeps this channel going. Other than that, I will be on Ask DLF on Tuesday with Cal, like always, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's our permanent news start time. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. And then we will be back on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, like always, to do our little early start sit show, which under less pressure than Sunday mornings.
Wait, not 6 p.m. this week.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's
Thanksgiving.
Geez.
Thanksgiving this Thursday.
You can tell that I don't that I'm not myself.
That's
today.
all right. I'm just here to remind you.
You're here to fix it. Man, that tells you what kind of day I've had. Yeah, no. So yeah, about Thanksgiving, I don't know what we're doing. I'm leaning towards doing something, but I have to put it together. It'll probably be early, 10:30. I'll have to wake up early. Boo. But whatever. Right. Yeah. So it will be earlier. And then I will do one last Sunday morning show on the DLF channel. Jeez. And then we'll be back here next week for the recap. So anyway, that was a lot. Thanks to everyone for watching. And have a good night.
See you.
Evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. Just have a good rest of your day.